the way he's scoring, it's also going to be difficult for you to say he's not scoring, less benching. It's going to be hard. Rather, you want to support him and give him hope. What if he don't score? And then, the opposition says, okay, it's Man City, they are not scoring anymore. Let's go for them. I just open the back door for Arsenal to win the league anyway.
The funny thing is,
even me, I'm laughing at myself.
The funny thing is, Manchester City in the Champions League have lost to very, very inferior opponents towards them. And Guardiola has been trying all sorts of things. First night, today is depending on wingers. Tomorrow, De Bruyne is the magic man. But as a unit coming to the Champions League, they are not going to be good. Currently now, they have easy opponents. Today, you're going to play Copenhagen. Copenhagen is like the best team in Danish league, which is also.
Are we expecting a hat trick from Haaland again?
I don't know. If he could score a hat trick against Sevilla, then what God cannot do does not exist. But this Manchester City team just needs to be more defensive. I think the thing is going to come back for them. This attacking. They are scoring good goals. But in the Champions League, they're just going to have this shock. It's coming for them.
Okay, for me, I'm praying that they lose early. They lose like 2 games. Lose one in the group stage, lose one in the knockout stage. So to keep them, because this whole Man City dominating, going all the way, and then somewhere along the line, because the first defeat is the one that gets them out. I'm tired of it. I want them to experience defeat, and then they take the pain. That's what Madrid does. Madrid will lose in the group stage, lose one knockout stage match, struggle. Then they will not know that, we're not invincible. We can be beaten, those kind of things. And I think that Man City needs that one. But Pep Guardiola wants to go the entire season unbeaten in the Champions League. Sometimes that's the thing that scams him. But let me get back to the news that I was reading before we had that my mistake. Okay, I have to own that up and not blame anybody on technical problem. Now, my own mistake and foolishness cost us to interrupt the first live streaming on YouTube. But there's another one up now, so we can get it going again on the news. And I remember stopping at in the other group fixtures, Liverpool FC defeated Glasgow Rangers 2-0 at Anfield, and then Liverpool are feeling like they are back. Who will not beat Rangers now? Come on, Rangers plays in Scotland. What's all this talk? Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mohamed Salah with the goals to secure victory for the Reds. Now, I'm very happy for Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm not one of those who believe in all those rubbish that they were talking about him. I like the way he came into this game. Yes, it's Rangers. Yes, they are not really good this season. They've lost some players they wish that they could keep. They lost Joe Aribo, they lost Kamibasi and a few other players. But then, when the whole world is against you, you've got yourself. That's what my mom used to say. When the whole world is against you, you've got yourself. Show what you are made of. Because sometimes when everybody is carrying you, you don't know the weight that they are carrying. Sometimes you need to carry yourself so that you can appreciate the courage that other people are giving to you. And when the world is against you, you bounce back. You show what the beast in you is. It's like, what's that guy that turns to Hawk in Avengers?
Hawk himself.
And Dr. When he's not Hawk, he's Dr. something.
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, it's Banner, yeah. Bruce Banner does look like a very weak guy. Like, when you see him, he's very weak. Just like Spider-Man. When he's not Spider-Man, he's very, very weak. But then, when the world is against them, the beast in them comes out. So you now see Hawk. Hawk, he goes from Dr. Bruce Banner, who's supposed to be doing research, supposed to be treating people, to this incredible guy that can never be beaten. Like nothing. Bullets, let the whole world collapse on him, he will still rise. Same for Spider-Man. Weakest guy in the group, but then when the world is against him, when something calamity is happening, he shows up. So I think that's what Trent Alexander-Arnold has done. The Hawk in him, the Spider-Man in him, has shown up, or the Tony Stark in him has shown up, but then he needs to find consistency. I'm not one of those who think that he's bad. I think he's one of the good fullback in English football, but then people have a different way of looking at it. It's not on the Roberto Carlos level or the Cafu level or Daniel Alves level or Marcelo level, but he's still a top guy. Okay, he's not a Philip Lahm, but he's still a top guy. I won't sit here where I am and I say, oh, he's crap. I wouldn't do that. Okay, so let's get back with the stories that we were reading. There were 6 other matches decided on Tuesday night in the European Club competition. Inter Milan defeated Barcelona 1-0 at the San Siro, coming from Barcelona. We're going to talk that together and also get the audience involved on that one. Club Brugge continued their impressive start to the Champions League campaign with a 2-0 win over Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid. Now, this one now, they'll go and put them in the group, in the knockout stage now, they'll go and draw them with Real Madrid or Barcelona or something, and they do not knock them out. That's how they do all these clubs that are finding themselves high. and then the establishment don't want them to win. They want to put them against one of the top teams that didn't make it as top, and then they just knock them out. Eintracht Frankfurt and Tottenham Hotspur shared the spoils in a 0-0 draw, while French Ligue 1 side Olympique de Marseille were 4-1 victors over Portuguese club Sporting Lisbon. Sporting Lisbon came late in this game because of traffic, but it still didn't change anything. Bayern Munich smashed Victoria Place Xenia 5-0 at the Allianz Arena in a game which saw them set a new UEFA group stage record by going unbeaten in 31 straight games. And you know, funny thing, when Lewandowski was leaving, I had this fear for them that they wouldn't see goals will not come. Now all of a sudden, Julian Nagelsmann, even though he's under pressure from home, everybody's against him, that he should be fired and all that. But the way he's doing in the Champions League is enough for me to give him confidence to say, you know what, you got a job. You got a job until you don't want it anymore. And then the Inter Milan side that have been struggling still find a way to score a goal from downtown to beat Barcelona. Barcelona just seemed not to find the goals in the Champions League. That's very, very sad. Well, I think that Rafinha has not turned out to be the Rafinha that we used to see at Leeds United. Maybe he's still struggling for the right position to play. Ousmane Dembele. And when I say this, people come at me, but I still think that Ousmane Dembele plays football like a child. Like, he doesn't really have the maturity to use this. It's like somebody who has powers but does not know how to coordinate the powers. He's got speed. He's got shot. He can shoot from both sides of his both legs. But one way or the other, he doesn't know the difference between when to cut back and when to pull out the ball. And most of his crosses are way too overheat. And there's just something about him that reminds me of Moses Simon. But hey, let me keep my fingers crossed. And let's hear from the Inter Milan goal scorer. Tuesday's match winner at Internazionale over Barcelona and match day 3 at the San Siro. Hakan Çalhanoğlu thanked Inter fans and hopes the win against the Spanish giant can change their season. The Turkey international, who had not scored in the UEFA Champions League for 5 years since his days at Bayern Leverkusen, Jesus Christ, was the hero for the Nerazzurri on Tuesday night. 5 years, five. Oh, Mary. Oh boy, that's a lot, man. Speaking to sports media's post-match, I always said, quoting from footballitalia.net, it was very important that we get the win tonight. We had to send a signal above all to the fans who are always close to us. And Anoglu told Sports Media set, the game was a big hand this evening. We proved that we deserve the victory. This game can really shake us up and change our season because we want to build on it. Okay, let's see. As for qualification, we got to stay calm and take it one game at a time. No need to rush because you might rush and make mistake. But then while he was talking, let's go to Napoli. Napoli are the team of the round as far as I'm concerned, unless some magical 8 goals, 7 goals, something happened today. And they are the team of the round as far as I'm concerned. Napoli coach Luciano Spalletti has said Napoli cannot lose focus at this time. And if they do, then trouble looms. Disaster is ahead. Napoli maintained their 100% record in the UEFA Champions League this season in Amsterdam on Tuesday night, trashing Ajax 6-1. The good thing is next week, if they win that game, they've already qualified. Now they can play their reserve team against Liverpool and Rangers in the other games. And that wouldn't be good anyway because it might just give Liverpool an edge, but it's something that they can do to rotate their team and keep players fresh. He said nobody ever even scored 5 goals away to Ajax in Europe competition, let alone 6. Speaking to Sky Italian, Spalletti said it was a good game. What counts is the performance. If we look at Serie A, if we hadn't won on Sunday, those behind us would have caught us, okay? And they would have caught up with us, and we could find ourselves 5th or 6th in the space of a week. It's fun to enjoy the ride, but the moment this game ends, we go home and start focusing on the next match. On Sunday, we're facing Cremonese side in a good shape, who are fired up for the occasion. We used up a lot of energy and need to get ourselves ready. Well, I like that coach anyway. Got the military mindset. I just hope that he can sustain it to the end of the season. We have had some great Champions League result and performances. That is true. As my team played great football press, constantly try to score at any moment, and felt confident against a very strong side that knows how to play football. They were also pretty tough, as there were 14 fouls against 2. Damn, that's much. Okay, a result and performance is also only as good as your opponent, and Ajax are a club that everyone can learn from. So this is an important result. I am very happy, honestly, but we need to win the next one, because if we then lose our focus or lose the right way to think about things, then we are in trouble. I like Spalletti's approach to the game. How far do you think it will go before a club like Juventus will say, Napoli, enough is enough. We want Spalletti to replace Massimiliano Allegri. How far do you think that will go?
It depends though. It depends because the job variety are very scarce these days. Managers too are very scarce. Only available manager in the market now is Zidane, because Pochettino is more like a watcher by understand. But I think for Spalletti, his team are just doing well, and every manager has their turn where their team does well. Even teams who are doing the relegation zone, the moment you are 17, you are automatically doing well, because Graham Potter has been used to that. And now Chelsea swooped him up. It might be the same for Spalletti, it might not. But considering the variety, I think he might soon get a bigger job than this Napoli if he's willing to leave the club, by the way.
All right, that's a good one. I like your take on that one. Well, guys, out there, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on YouTube, we're leaving the conversation for you all to do. Okay, you bring up whatever talking point you want to have. I'm not going to ask you what do you think of this, what do you think of that. Whatever talking point you want to have, you ask the question as well. We would answer, myself and Benedict Eke. Somebody said we should not force people to talk what we want them to talk. They should be free. It's their data, it's their time. They should be free to also bring up what they want to talk. They want to talk about basketball and not Champions League. We should allow them. If they want to talk about cricket or rugby, we should allow them. That's the way it's going to be for now. So let's get it going. But on Instagram, there's a lot to read. So let's go. It's good that we were able to get off the setback of going on the first live stream and coming back as fast as possible. Thank you to you, Benedict, because you were here. It was easy for me to transition on that point. But before I read what's on Instagram, let me read a few messages that I have on YouTube. Lord Mayor says, greetings, boss. Greetings to you. Lord Mayor says, Barca to Europa. Oh, Lord have mercy. They still have a chance to make it. They've got 3 points, right?
Zero. They got zero.
No, they can't be zero. They won their first game.
Okay. They lost to Bayern.
They lost. They beat Victoria Plzeň, where Lewandowski scored a hat trick.
Yes,
so they can't be zero. They have 3 goals, 3 points to the good, and they've lost to Inter. I think they can still beat Inter in Spain. So that brings them back to 6 points with Inter Milan. Bayern is already qualified, so it's a battle between them, and then their other game will be against Victoria Plzeň away, that they can win. They might win, and then at that time, Inter Milan would have to go play Bayern.
So it might be complex for them. Barcelona have a chance too.
Barcelona have a chance because with Bayern already qualified, we don't know the team that Bayern will bring out. But then again, Bayern wants to play for pride and save their honors. Well, let's just keep our feet. Let's just enjoy. For me, I just want to enjoy the flow. Arsenal is not in the Champions League. I just want to enjoy the flow. Arsenal playing Europa, and then our game was postponed last time out because of the Queen that died. Now we have only 3 points, but we played only 1 game as well. But I don't like games in hand. I don't like games. Games in hand are very, very scary because just when you think you've won it, the team that you're supposed to beat that was weak is the game in hand against Tottenham Hotspur that got us out of not qualifying for the Champions League. The time that we're supposed to play Tottenham Hotspur, if we had played that game that time, we would have beaten them. But one of those things that happened. Yemi Dynamite is glad you sorted us on YouTube. Oh, Big Uncle E. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. What do you think about Barcelona after signing and hijacking every major talent available and lost to Inter Milan yesterday? I felt bad for them, but I also felt good for Inter Milan because it's not just the case of one team. Now you have to put the 2 teams on ground. One, Inter Milan have been battling their own demons, not being able to win. Things have not gone the way they want. They brought back Lukaku, but Lukaku went and injured. The team is not really doing well. And you just look at them and say, when would this get going? And then eventually it's got going for them. So it's something to be proud of, to be happy for them. But then I thought that Barcelona, their biggest strength, it's not because some people say because they lost some players at the back. It's not really because they lost some players at the back. They still keep possession well. They still play the way they want to play. But the problem with Barcelona is that front line is over-reliant on Lewandowski. The difference between Lewandowski and Barcelona and Haaland at Man City is that the entire team work for Haaland. In Barcelona team, Gavi, Pedri, Rafinha, their decision making is what will kill Barcelona this season. It's good that they're on top of the La Liga table, but their decision making is not good. It's like when Vinicius and Rodrigo first came to Real Madrid, the first 2 seasons, the way they were playing, you could say that, okay, these guys are good players, these guys are talented players, but they were all over the place. And it affected the way they played in the league, even though they're going on to win the Champions League here and there. But you could see that that's exactly what's happening with Barcelona this time around. Dembele might come good, but I don't think it's going to improve beyond this. It's just not going to mature more than this. But Rafinha eventually might have to sit in. If he goes to the World Cup, probably didn't make the team, didn't make the starting team. He's going to make the squad, but I don't know if it's going to make the starting team the way this Brazil team is going. I think that since 2002, this is the best Brazilian team that they've had. And did I say since 2002?
No, they won in 2002.
No, not that time.
Okay.
2002. Then they hosted the World Cup in 2014. Yes, since 2002, this is the best team they've had. I got correct. Since 2002, after 2002, Brazil have had like very, very consistent team. But this is like one of the most balanced team. They've got players that can fit in everywhere. Maybe at the defense, they're a little bit not as solid as it used to be, but they still have a team that have a good cadence that they can transition and go forward. It's no longer a team that relies 100% on Neymar anymore. So I think if they get back from the World Cup, it might be too late for Barcelona, but eventually it might become a team that will do well next season. What I love with Juan Laporta is that it knows how to support the coaches that is employed. When it's firing you, nobody can make any excuse and all that. But yesterday's game, I thought that they were good enough to win. They just were shooting unnecessarily, playing stamping room against the Inter Milan players. And then when Hakan Çalhanoğlu got that chance and shoot from that distance, it just went in and the lock shot. They feel like, okay, we've got them where we want them now. We might not be able to go forward again and score 2, 3, or 4 goals against this Barcelona team, but then let's make sure they don't score against us. And that's what happened. Do I blame Xavi for his selection? I don't think I want to blame Xavi. Even at the best team that he's got under the circumstance, but they just didn't deliver. Again, the same thing that happened against Bayern Munich. First half was theirs to take. They had the game. They should have scored 3 or 4 goals in that first half, or minimum 2. But at the end of the day, they ended up losing 2-0. And this is exactly what happened with Inter Milan. I'm thinking they'll go back home and then realign it. One of the things that hurts in football is when you're not playing that badly and you still end up losing, you feel bad. Tottenham Hotspur cannot complain about losing to Arsenal. They play badly. Man United cannot complain about losing to Man City. They play badly. But when you play very well and still end up losing, you ask yourself, what else then do I need to do? And sometimes tactics-wise, arranging your team wise, it's hard. Well, I mean, this is Barcelona. They just might get something out of it. Tebi Pekarebia says, it seems like Barca are below the upper tier of Europe. Bayern, Real Madrid, and City. Well, they are not completely out. We've seen Real Madrid play very, very badly. After 3 games in the Champions League group stage, it felt like they were not going to qualify. They had only 3 points. They had only 1 point, and then they had the same Inter Milan in their group. But then they went on to win after win after win, and then they went on to beat Liverpool in the finals of the Champions League. So I'm not going to count them out yet. I'm not saying that Barcelona are going to win the Champions League, but until they are out, they are still not out. Mathematically, they still have a chance to qualify. They could still overall Inter Milan in this. If they beat Inter Milan, say 2-0 or 3-0 at home, and then they go on to beat Victoria Plzeň
and maybe get 1-1
and and then the result, Inter Milan result against Bayern and the other team goes sideways, they have qualified. If you scrape through by hair's breadth and then you find your way. In 2012, when Chelsea won the Champions League, they struggled to get past the group stage, struggled to get past Napoli. But then they went on to play the biggest game of their life against Bayern at the Allianz Arena, and then they still end up winning it. Call it penalty win, who cares? Again, when the Thomas Tuchel beat Manchester City in the finals, let's be very, very honest here. Not too many people, not even Chelsea fans, expected that Chelsea were going to win that one, but then they won. So sometimes it's not always going to play swashbuckling football from the first game of the group stage till the finals. That's not Man City played all that and went all the way to the finals and lost. They played all that the season before, went all the way to the semi-finals and lost to Real Madrid that didn't look the part. But unfortunately, you don't discount Real Madrid when it comes to Champions League. And if you're unfortunate to meet them in the semi-finals, you know that when Madrid are seeing the finals, it's hard to knock them out. So, these things will happen anyway. But let's keep our fingers crossed and see how it goes. Olatunji Emmanuel said, please, I want you to review the Arnold issue again. His defense isn't really good, and that's a concern. I heard people right to criticize that part of his game, considering that that has been his issue. So let me explain that bit to people, because a lot of people have sent me message, ask me why am I not hard on him. If he was any other player, I would be hard on him. That's not true. Trent Alexander-Arnold plays on the right hand side, and before now you have Gini Wijnaldum in midfield who works like a beast. And sometimes you have a Fabinho in that midfield as well, or Keita. Okay, all of these guys work like animals, and they help to cover. One player that does not track back at all is Mo Salah. Mo Salah is invisible without the ball. Okay, it's not like on the other side where you used to have Sadio Mane and then you have Robertson, who Sadio Mane goes back to the defense and come forward and help the team and all that. Because Mo Salah does not track back, it affects how Trent Alexander-Arnold defend. And then now that you don't have a Gini Wijnaldum, you have Henderson, who on the ball is very good, but without the ball, it goes missing as well. So you have Mo Salah missing without the ball, Henderson missing without the ball. That's the reason why people score against Liverpool. But people don't understand that. The last man that they get past before they score the goal is always the guy they judge. But you see, football is a team game. You need all these elements to come true. If this element don't come true, it's bad. Hector Bellerin became a bad player once Arsenal signed Nicolas Pepe. But people don't see that. People, Hector Bellerin is not good. But he was a very good player before Nicolas Pepe came in. And the reason why was Nicolas Pepe would not track back to save his life. Once he loses the ball, even with the ball, is a liability. If he's holding the ball, it's a liability. Many people don't run because they're not expecting that he will give the ball. He's going to turn more than 4 times with the ball. He's going to go forward and then dash back and then do, the low budget Dembele. And then people just give up on running. And, once that happens, people fall out of position. Once we lose the ball, he doesn't track with the ball. And then Hector Bellerin becomes very, very exposed. That's exactly the same thing that's happening with Trent Alexander-Arnold right now. When Sadio Mane was there, what happened is, once they lose the ball, you see Sadio Mane tracking, either going into midfield or going back to cover Robertson. So what Robertson does is shocking into the 18-yard box. Any of the 2 defensive players there, whether it's Matip and Virgil van Dijk, they all cover for Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then there's a balanced way of defending. Also, you have the midfielders forming a wall to cover him. And it was working well. But right now, the team are not doing that. They're losing possession. They're getting caught out of possession most of the time. Would you blame Trent Alexander-Arnold for it? I wouldn't blame him, because this is how he's been playing and he's been working well. He played like this and won the league. He played like this and went to 3 finals of the Champions League, lost 2 and won 1. I wouldn't blame him. I just think that right now, it is a coach's job to say, okay, my team is not set up the way they used to set up. Let's revamp the team, readjust the team, and make it work. I would rather play maybe 3 at the back and push it forward a little bit so that it helps the attack and give us a hand there, rather than, especially when you want to play Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez needs somebody to be whipping in the crosses properly. So if I play 3 at the back, put that midfield properly, when we lose the ball, we go back to 5. I think it will work.
Because the players don't support that 3 at the back. Because Robertson is not on the back 3 as well.
No, it will be part of the 5. Okay, the midfield. Yes. That's what work. You play Virgil van Dijk, you play whoever you have with him, and then you play maybe Gomez as a third man or somebody. Okay, so they have Virgil van Dijk, Matip, right? You add a Gomez to that one, or any of the other players that sit in well with them. Then you push Robertson or Tsimikas forward. You push Trent Alexander-Arnold forward. It gives you help, because when you have a Thiago Alcantara, as good as he can be, he also doesn't track back. So look at the team that played yesterday. If Rangers was a better team, they'll beat this Liverpool. You have Dias, he does track back. You have Thiago Alcantara, who doesn't track back. You have Diego Jota, who played behind Núñez, who also doesn't track back that much. He just does that is perimeter work, and then it's done. And then you have Núñez, Salah. So the whole of Núñez, Salah, Diego Jota, Thiago Alcantara are not players that track back. It's always going to be difficult. It's just that the Anfield ambience and Alisson was in good form. saved Liverpool yesterday.
lot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to wake up to say I want to blame Trent Alexander. I don't have the good conscience to blame him. Now all of a sudden people are saying he doesn't defend well. When they were winning, was he defending well? No, the answer is no. They have more players that were tracking back. They have more players that were working. And if you played in the club style of play, you know that all of those hard work will come back to bite you eventually. These players need some breather. Unfortunately, the replacement for certain players have not become like what they lost. You know, you lose the 10 and then you bring in a 5. Sometimes you need to work the man to make up the balance 5. But having said that, I understand why people are complaining, but there's nothing I really can say about that one. Additional Alpha say good morning, Elegbete family. Good morning to you. Napoli is on fire. Second place will up for grab between Ajax and Liverpool. I hope Ajax makes it. Bassi was stressed in the game. He was trying to cover so much gaps. Yes, he was. Additional Ufoma says, at this rate, the Ajax coach will be under fire. He needs to sort the positioning. I agree with you completely. Lord Mayor say, but Xavi and Arteta, who do you rate more? I rate Arteta more because Arteta has proven himself under pressure, and the quality of players he's got are not as good as the quality of players that Xavi got. But before we jump up and make noise about it, Xavi came into a storm. Arteta didn't come into a storm. Arteta came into a team that was already down. The storm had gone, so it was now a rebuilding process. But Xavi came into a storm, and there was no time to do anything. They were 9th when he took over the team. It rose them up to second, and now they are top of the league. They are still in Champions League. They're still within a shot. Tactically, I don't think it's gotten it bad. It just doesn't have. He didn't have the kind of precision that Arteta have had. Some of the players came in very late, and then some players were going to go, and then eventually they stayed. Don't forget that inside that dressing room, the financial crisis that is dealing with, if Arteta deals with that, he might not be winning. He might be at the bottom of the table right now. Many players have had to cut their pay, and if you know workers, so it's not just football. If you know workers, one thing workers don't like is cut my pay. Even though in this case it's cut pay and then they will pay you later. But what are the guarantees that things might not go back to what it used to be? And then you're hearing that next year Messi is coming again, and then you're wondering what's happening in this club. So all of those things can just be unsettling people, and some people have been giving form click. I wouldn't want to blame him yet. I want to give him another season and see. I'm always of the third season person. Like, okay, give him the first, the second, and then the third season, and then we'll talk. And for him, he came in very late last season, and then see where they are right now. Would you say they've made progress? Yes, my answer is they've made progress. The team that we had last season versus the team that you have this season, you see they've made massive progress. So I will rate him high, but Arteta have got stability. He's got a right-hand man that he's working with in Edu Gaspar, and both of them were players of this very club, so they both understand what the club needs and all that. I think it will be unfair on Xavi, even though I will rate Arteta, because Arteta have done something that I love. He's been able to ship that. Arteta have done like 3 things in one: bring stability to the team, ship out the over-earning, the high earners, and then the turning bad eggs as well, and being able to set a team that within a very perfect age bracket. But I would like to hear Benedict's thought on that.
Well, eliminating those high earners has one of the biggest achievements in that team.
Yeah.
When Ozil, Aubameyang left, and maybe
Lacazette
left too. But I think Xavi, from the command team that was there last, command team was a dead weight as well as Arteta took Arsenal. But the financial support and also the change in the presidential role where Laporta had to come back and became the president and all that, it wasn't just the best for the Barcelona team. But considering the team, the whole set of players they bought, like they suit all the players Chelsea wanted: Rafinha, Koundé, Lewandowski, although Chelsea didn't want Lewandowski. But those 3 players and the rest of the
But they got Aubameyang.
They got Aubameyang back. Is that a
Compensation, yeah.
Then they also got Alonso, by the way. But of all those teams, everyone expects Barcelona to be. They are doing very well in La Liga, although
They've not lost in La Liga.
Real Madrid could have been top, or except the draw they had over the weekend. But that game against Inter Milan, they should have done a bit more better. The only positive thing from that game was Pedri. Pedri was like Harry Potter in that game.
It was working magic.
Lewandowski was missing. Dembele, like you said, needs to up his game a bit better. Rafinha was out of place.
Do you think that Dembele would improve though?
Dembele is a very good player, but the Inter Milan team.
He's a very talented player, but I don't know if he's a good player.
The Dembele at Dortmund was something a delight to watch. But this, I think yesterday, Inter Milan just mean the identity that way. And
They shackled him down.
The whole backline itself was in the air, they were just there. no crossing coming through, no corner coming through. The free kick they had towards the end, and then you go Pedri scored, although as a fact he wanted to do hand of man and all of that. But generally rating Ateta and Xavi, Ateta has had his own bad time, but Xavi has had a bad time who resurrected to a good time. But rating them, I'll say Ateta has been better though.
Yeah, I mean, so well, let's go to some of the other messages that we've got here. And where did I stand? Okay. This from I say Xavi has no choice but to rotate. The team is really playing well, but losing. It is just the final decision making, and it is the first season after the changes. It will take some time to gel. I agree with you that one. I wouldn't want to put too much pressure on him here. Let me say Dembele is a far better player than Rafinha for me. Well, your opinion, I'm not going to argue, but I think I don't think that Rafinha. I mean, Dembele is better than Rafinha. It's just that Rafinha have not settled in. Dembele have had to stay. This is his sixth season with Barcelona, fifth or sixth season, and he's still struggling to sort out his left leg from his right leg. He's still struggling to sort out the difference between a cross into the box and a cross over the box. He's still struggling to sort out the difference between a movement to cut back and a movement to cross the ball. I don't think Rafinha would take that long anyway. I would pick Rafinha ahead of Dembele any day, anytime. Dembele is not my kind of player. He was still talking about how good he was at Dortmund. We'll still not been able to say, oh, he's giving Barcelona this one full season. By the time he wants to play well, when he plays 2 good games, he go out injured for 9 months like Abu Dhabi. I don't think he's one of the players that I would rate as a good player anyway. So I think he said, talk about what you think the new NFF president should do different. Also talk about the chances of Barcelona and Chelsea making the UEFA Champions League second round. I think we'll talk a lot about Barcelona. For the NFF president, what I think he should do differently, I think he should continue in line with bringing in more brands, but then the team has to play well for those brands to come in. He should try as much as possible to avoid the crisis that the Minister of Sports is already cooking and putting down, the storm that the Sports Minister is putting down. Don't forget that the Sports Minister by May next year would have gone, but the crisis might last for 4 or 5 years if case is not taken. So all of these things are things that he should try, find a diplomatic resolution to it, because if he goes out there and say, oh, I want to put my foot down, blah, 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 that might become a problem. So any way you want to look at it, you find a diplomatic way, align with different people and get a result. Unfortunately, the sports minister doesn't look like somebody who wants peace. It's the kind of guy that you would want to fight with. But right now, knowing fully well that you will still need to go to meet him to help get that 1 billion or 960 million that the federal government provide for running the NFF, it's a two-edged sword. He's caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. But I mean, he contested for the election, but I've looked at the problem and see what he can do. I wouldn't join people to say he should focus on grassroots and focus on the league. He doesn't have the resources. He doesn't have the power. So I don't think it's something he wants to do. Focus on the NFF. Avoid crisis with the national team. Pray that the national team qualifies for the Nations Cup and go properly and compete. And also plan for the 2026 World Cup, which I call Japan World Cup for the West African countries people, because I know that from now, the football supporters club will be having a lot of members registering, trying to join, so that when that time comes, they will jackpot, they will run. But we'll see how it goes. This is going to be the Nations Cup where full family will join supporters club. I can bank. You can bank on that one. Say I told you so when the time comes. You will see the battle. The first time where Nigeria will go to a tournament and supporters club members will be crying that they've been in the supporters club since, but they didn't take them to go support the team. I know those things will happen. For Barcelona, I think we've talked extensively about them. Chelsea making the Champions League second round. Chelsea are a good side. The group that they're in is not really that bad. It's not really a group where you say, oh, they cannot qualify. But having said that, one of the things that I always say is somehow when you look at Graham Potter, you just look at yourself and say, well, because they're in a group that have AC Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg, and Dynamo Zagreb. They've lost to Dynamo Zagreb away already.
Drew 1-1 with Salzburg.
Drew 1-1 with Salzburg. Now it's AC Milan they're playing. Their prayer is that they don't lose to AC Milan. Because if they lose to AC Milan, then it's going to be very, very tough. The other teams will come at them and do well. I don't have high hopes for them, not because they don't have the players, but because they have a coach that I cannot believe in. English coaches are, for me, shitty coaches, and this responsibility is too big. So I think what they say, but the person should know that what you talk about is current event and also informed by the news. Timothy Dahimo supply. Yeah, I agree, but I also agree with the person. I mean, anybody can bring in any conversation. Let's run it. We're going to do that for the next 1 week or two and see how it goes. If it doesn't go well, we'll revert. See, innovation, we should open our minds and our heart for innovative thinking. Somebody have that one to think. He's spending his data, spending his time listening. We shouldn't just throw them away because if like, oh, that feels autocratic. He wants to do things always his way and he wants us to listen. It's forcing his will on us. So let's also give people the opportunity to share in the idea. Damo Woye says, good suggestion, however. I want you to still stir the wheel of discourse for all to be organized. I will advise you roll out news based on the sport types and trending in categories. Timothy Dembon, are you ready to talk to that one? Okay, Saviki agreed with Damo where he said that yes, he has to remain the moderator. Otherwise, the whole discussion will be derailed. I agree with you. I would still moderate, but what I want is I should not just narrow it to just what I want to talk about. I think that's what the guy from New Zealand was saying. Good morning, Elabata TV. That's Debanam. Good morning to you. Once again, Saviki say Jesus Gil Manzano is the Spanish ref like Mike Dean making headline. Nope, that's not the person I was talking about. Okay, Jesus Gil is a different person, not that one at all. I was talking about the conversation was around club president. So I'm sure wherever you went to go and look for that, you should add late to the name because it's late, it's there. Okay, I was watching 3 different matches as well. Couldn't miss watching Labotka, Anguish, and Zelensky. Yeah, it's good players to watch anytime, any day. You know, I like the way Anguissa plays right now. I won't lie. I like the way he plays. There's just something about him that just makes you feel, whoa, this is what Wilfred Ndidi would have been like. Okay, but unfortunately, he's not like that, and it's different. He's chosen a different path to go in his own way. Okay, but I think this is me. I might be wrong, but I like the way Anguissa play right now. Would I pick Anguissa ahead of Wilfred Ndidi right now? I think I currently do. Okay, so looking at numbers, I know people will be angry with me for saying that, but I think I would. I just love the way he plays right now. It doesn't mean that Wilfred Ndidi is bad. That is not what it means, but it just means that is who I will pick. Olulapta, I say, well done, Elegote. Thank you very much. Victor Malalu, do you need a chance for me to give you to tell me who the Jesus Gil I was talking about is? What Saviki said, Trent received the stick from analysts week after causing 2 goals. Is good more on attacking than defending. But why is nobody talking about Virgil van Dijk that also, very letting goal against Manchester United, letting goal against even the last goal, they would have won that game 3-2. The last goal, I'm blaming. It's not Trent Alexander. Yeah, they got past Trent Alexander across the ball, but the ball went through. It went through Virgil van Dijk like Virgil van Dijk was invisible. Okay, Saviki said Trent's strength is on attacking, but weak in defending. When we come against sharp and faster attacker, I still know Vinicius Junior overrunning. Vinicius Junior will overrun anybody. It's like when Robin or Frank Ribery dribbles past you and then they blame you that you can't defend. There are certain players that will overrun any and everybody. Dailyman, I say, Elegbate, once you were at the radio, you used to speak freely on some games and who you thought would win games. I don't know if you still do that. I don't. Okay, you share teams on clubs you feel would win games because yesterday I had a gut feeling Napoli was going to beat Ajax. It's the same gut feeling that I use now. Why didn't you bet on it? If that's what you're looking for, I've always used my gut feeling. When I do my prediction, it's my gut feeling. That's why it annoys people because it doesn't meet normal reasoning. But you see, the thing is, I'm one of the guys who believe that I can put my life on the line and say anything that I want to say. What's the worst that can happen? But you see, I was the Tupac of sports radio. I was the Tupac Amaru Shaka of sports radio. But right now, this is Celebrity TV radio. I'm more like a pop daddy. I'm more like a pop daddy right now because I'm more of a business person. I'm more like a pop daddy, Jay-Z. I will still say what I want to say, but if I don't have like a sponsor on that, I don't think it's something that I want to put to waste and then make my show all about predicting when I have Benedict here to groom and I have other people, Emmanuel Sebastian to groom. I need to focus on them. If you not ask me a question, if you show up in the comment section and ask me a question like you want to compare the games you want to bet and say this team versus this team, who you think is going to win, I'll give you my take. But I'm not going to come on my show and be talking about betting. No, remember, I was doing 5 shows when I was in Breda. So I was doing the breakfast show, me, Tony Bekedema, and Kisley there. After that one, I do Mede Parliament, and then I'll do the sports hard tackle, and then I'll do sports on the go. So if you look at all of that, there are places, there are shows that is programmed for it. This is the only show I do here. This is 1 hour show that I do here. Sometimes it's extended like today because of the break that happened. One of the things you can take advantage of is if you show up in the comment section and ask me a question about a game, I will give you my answer as best as I think, and I'll tell you my gut feeling about it, why this would happen, why that would happen. It's not always going to go well, but I think I've been lucky since 2007 to get it right more than I get it wrong. So that's the way it's going to be. But to sit here and spend the whole show talking about sports betting when there are a lot of people who are not interested in sports betting, they just want to have a conversation, that would be me abusing them and abusing the opportunity and privilege that I have to get people's attention. So I hope that is clear for you. Saviki, say, Sadio was there when Vinicius Junior was overrunning him. You see, the thing that people, sometimes when you people say things, you people should say things with the common sense of understanding a train of thought. How many games did they play against Real Madrid? They played 1 game. Like I just told you now, you are contradicting yourself. You said Vinicius will over. Is there any player that Vinicius will not overrun? He will overrun everybody. That's because that's who he is. That's his style of play. The thing is, when you pick 1 bad game that he played in, tell me any other player that played well in that same game. Okay, so it's not about Trent Alexander-Arnold, but the problem with a lot of people out there is, and this is why I am very different. I give my own view of the game. It's also why I don't go to view center to watch game. What you are telling me is what you've heard from people. What is your position on the player? How did Trent Alexander-Arnold go from being one of the key players in the team, from 3 Champions League finals, 1 UEFA Cup finals, winning the league, pursuing Man City to the final day almost every season, to this one because of 2 or 3 bad games? Haven't you noticed that this season Liverpool are not in the races? There's something wrong with the team. Okay, they're not playing as good as they used to play. People come to Liverpool, whether hand feed or left feed or head feed, any field, with confidence that they can win. It wasn't like that before. So there's something not right. And when something goes wrong, the thing is the weakest link get exposed easily. And then the conversation is, there are people in the British press that does not want Trent Alexander-Arnold in the English national team. The same people that are shouting about Trent Alexander-Arnold go quiet about Jack Grealish when he doesn't show up. Jack Grealish, since he signed for Man City for 100 million, and played only 4 good games. Okay, now let's get past that one. Harry Maguire is not playing football at all, but somehow they are not talking about it. So use your own. Tell me what you see. Don't tell me what you hear some roadside journalists tell you, or what some bricklayer analysts tell you. Tell me what you think. Don't this thing you're saying now is copy and paste. That's not what I want to hear on my show. It doesn't make sense. Vinicius will outrun anybody. Did Vinicius not outrun Fernandinho to go and create a goal? It will outrun anybody. It will outrun anybody right now because it's in his zone. This is his time. It was like Hazard at Chelsea. Now, Hazard is not a fantastic player. We are finding that now. But at Chelsea, he was in his element. He was in his zone. He could kill you. Like Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal. He was in his element. And then, what's it called? Mesut Ozil playing with Santi Cazorla. There are times when you are in your element, you will do anything. But don't narrow it down to 1 game. Give me a full report of the whole season. Did Brighton and Hove outrun Liverpool? Did Brentford outrun Liverpool when they were in their element? They were beating all these teams now. Did Trent Alexander, once upon a time, we're talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold having more assists than even midfielder, competing with Kevin De Bruyne in assists. Okay, so how did that all of a sudden go wrong? One, the team are not running, are not finding themselves in the right place, out of position, Out of possession, they are badly placed. In possession, they are badly placed. Even when he crosses the ball this time, there's nobody to meet the ball. So that understanding needs to come. You think when you just sign a new player into your team, everybody will just be like, no, it takes some time.
And
so
more so, he said Mane outran. He said Vinicius outran Vinicius, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Mane didn't track back. I think you should go and watch how the goal was scored in the final. Maybe he meant Rodrigo, because the ball went from Rodrigo from the right hand and swooped past Alexander Robertson and Van Dijk. And Trent Alexander-Arnold was late, and Vinicius Junior had the open net.
Just shoved the ball into the net.
So before that game,
and this is what I'm even saying. They are ignoring where the ball came from. Who lost the ball, how the ball came to reach where he is, and then they say Trent Alexander-Arnold. People just have an agenda against Trent.
You think for that game, Alexander-Arnold's girlfriend was in the stadium, and he was like, let me impress. And Vinicius Junior, he found Vinicius Junior. Then Vinicius Junior was like, is it this one? Okay, we meet. Then, and all of that happened. The goal was totally the defense mistake.
The entire Liverpool defense are in shambles right now, and I hate it that they are blaming Trent Alexander-Arnold. Do I like him? Am I his fan? I'm not. But it doesn't mean that I would hang him to drag because of the fault of the whole team. It's the whole team. When they do well now, they'll say, you know the funny thing, every time Liverpool wins, it's Jurgen Klopp. When they lose, they are looking for players to blame. Now, why are they not blaming Jurgen Klopp anymore? Every win that Liverpool have gotten is, Jurgen Klopp is get pressing, the way he arranges his team, he can get all these players to play together, to play well, blah, 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 blah. Pep Guardiola have been shopping and pruning his team, and they still play well. Okay? But when he wins, they say, no, with Pep Guardiola, it's Pep Guardiola controlling the players. With Jurgen Klopp, he gets everybody involved. Why is he not getting everybody involved anymore? People should please move on with this whole talk. Steve Oko, he said, good morning, Elegota. Good morning to you. This guy playing presently in Osimhen's absence due to injury is seriously a cause for concern. For me, how you say it's not a cause for concern, it's a team thing. Victor Osimhen still is their lead striker, but he just needs to avoid injury. If he doesn't avoid injury, then the person who steps on, that's what you want in your team. You don't want the standard to be this high. When somebody else steps in, he drops like this. They want to win. They are on a mission. They want to win. And it doesn't look like they are going to sell Osimhen this season. I would love to see them win, whether Osimhen starts regularly or not. If you can avoid injury, it's good. If you cannot avoid it, there's nothing anybody can do. What is worse is Osimhen goes out, they're on top of the league, and then when he comes back, they are now in 5th or 6th, and then they're struggling to go up again. I think this is what you want to see in the team. The player goes out, and another person comes in, it's same of the same, which is the very, very best that can happen. So I think he said Dembele is like Walker in those days, okay, that you think it will improve, but then remain same level several seasons on. I agree with you on this 100%. Tony Jesse said football is all about performance. It's not an argument, okay? Tony Jesse, I mean, Anguish is better now. Okay. I don't know. All right, sir. I think we've gotten to the end. We've done the extra 15 minutes that was missing in the live stream, and I think it's a balanced one now. Let me say, who was the sports minister candidate for the election? Boss, Shiaki Umi. Boss, try give us your prediction on Arsenal versus Liverpool. That game is going to be tough. The best bet is there's a lot of bet market for that game. I think both teams will score because Arsenal will score. Liverpool can also score against Arsenal. Arsenal defense is maybe 75, 80%, not 100%. Liverpool's defense is shaky, but that game, Liverpool Arsenal is always a very tough one. I think both teams will score. Over 1.5 is there. Over 2.5 is there. If you ask me, my gut feeling is Arsenal is going to beat Liverpool. Now, this is very, very bold statement, but all those change of tactics against Rangers, meaning that they are not bad, I'm not buying into it. Rangers is horrible this season. Ajax beat them. Napoli beat them. Okay, has Napoli played against them?
No, they haven't. Napoli, Rangers, no.
Wait, this is game 3 now.
This was game 3.
Then they played Rangers.
Okay, they played Rangers, yes.
They played Rangers. Everybody's beating Rangers, and this is practically the lowest score that Rangers have collected. This is Anfield. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Liverpool are back. They're good. Get President is back. No. But then if Arsenal goes into this game and feel very relaxed, feel like, oh, we are cute, we're fine, honky-dory, we beat Tottenham Hotspur last weekend, we can do that. That's a very, very grave mistake to be making. But I'll go to Arsenal to win anyway. Lord Mayor said, Onyedika was a rock in the midfield against Atletico de Madrid. Yes, he should keep doing that consistently. Maybe he would get the national team position for himself. I feel Liverpool is having dressing room problem. I feel so too. Yemi Dynamite, I think Liverpool squad is tired. But you know, guys, I predicted this last season, towards the end of last season. I said these guys will burn out and then they will start playing like Bolton Wanderers and start playing like some upcoming team. But people say I don't know what I'm saying. That's exactly what has happened. The team is burned out, and Jurgen Klopp does not really know how to raise them up because it is easy to raise a team from 8, 9, 10 position and bring them up like Ateta is doing, than to sustain them at the very top. That's one reason why I've got mad respect for Pep Guardiola. Not saying that other coaches don't get my respect, but Pep Guardiola know how to rotate his team, prawn and shop his team. Imagine last season, team that won the league. Zinchenko is gone, Raheem Sterling is gone, Gabriel Jesus is gone, Fernandinho is gone. But then the tempo, the momentum is still the same. And then they didn't even, a lot of people didn't go for Haaland because they thought he's injury prone. But guess what? Manchester City found the solution. They got their own physio, they got a special physio team for him. Even when he's going to the national team now, they're sending physio with him. What people don't get is they're spending more money. They send those people to go work on the national team, they put them on the private jet, they do all of that. That's more money. But at the end of the day, they just seem to get going. Yes, Mustafa said Napoli beat Rangers 4-0. So if you look at it, Ajax beat
actually 3-0.
3-0, right?
Yeah.
Ajax beat them 4-0 or 5-0. Napoli beat them, and then if Madrid, Liverpool beat them 2-0, and then all of a sudden people say that Liverpool, I don't think they're bad. If Arsenal doesn't beat Liverpool, I'll feel bad about it. Like I'll feel like this is one that you're supposed to win. Like the game against Man United, why I wasn't angry. You look at the players that are injured, okay, and you say Man United got Arsenal at the very right time. Thomas Partey is not there. Thomas Partey represents the foundation, the base of that team, the solidity that team gets. And he just added a goal the other day against Spurs. I mean, what best time to score your third goal for Arsenal, okay, against a team like that? So I think it's a good one for them. But honestly, I don't sit here and say Liverpool are bad. Can Arsenal win them? Let them play on Thursday, tomorrow, and then we can take it up from there and say, okay, well, this is what we want to see. Thank you very much, Musti 101. He said, I love your show, Elegote. Thank you very much. And do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube, Elegote TV Sports. This is where I pack my bags and baggages and leave the studio. But before I leave, let me go to Benedict. Benedict, what's that one talking point, one thing that you wanted to say that we didn't get to touch on? Anything from the World Cup? Anything from, anywhere?
On World Cup, because the Champions League is going to be also coming tomorrow. My World Cup starts maybe till Friday or Thursday, or maybe tomorrow, depending on how it goes. Tomorrow's Thursday,
yeah.
Depending on how it goes. But the Eintracht Frankfurt game against Tottenham, at least there was a talking point from that game. At least Son and Harry Kane were hands on their head saying Mugbe. That was a good one for me. The Mugbe was too much. It was just too much. But overall, it was a good one. Expecting better one today. I realized Celtic, both teams doing well domestically. Going to clash there. PSG will take on Benfica. Real Madrid will take on Shakhtar Donetsk. Sevilla will take on Dortmund. All ones to look out for.
All right, as we go, let me remind you that 40 games have been played out of the 125 games for the UEFA Champions League. And in that 40 games, we've already have a goal ratio of 2.80 per match, and the most time that goals have been scored in this season's Champions League is the 32nd minute. Okay, 13 goals have been scored from the first to 15 minutes. 15 goals have been scored from 16 minutes to 30th minute. 17 goals have been scored from 31 to 45 minutes. The time with the least amount of goal is the 45 minutes plus added time. Only 2 goals have been scored in added time of the UEFA Champions League.
Did one yesterday.
Yeah, and the start of the second half, 23 goals have been scored from the 46th minute to the 60th minute, and you have 13 goals scored from 31st minute to 75th minute, and 22 goals have been scored from the 76th minute to the 90th minute. 90 minutes plus, you've had 7 goals scored. That's 90 minutes. We've not had extra time. We're still in the group stage. But one thing you should know is a total of 112 goals have been scored so far this season. Many statistics will be coming as we progress in the UEFA Champions League. But having said that, we've come to the end of the show. I want to say once again, massive thank you to everybody who made the show today. But I won't go without telling you this. Napoli are the highest goal scorer at this stage of this competition with 13 goals, Bayern Munich with 9, and Club Brugge with 7. Manchester City still have 6. They have a chance to go up to second if they can score 4 goals today. But I don't think anybody can go to number 1 position because Napoli's 13 is very, very high. Sporting also have 6 and Ajax have 6, even though they considered just the same amount of goals yesterday. Let's not forget that Chelsea are the king of possession without scoring much goal anyway. They're the king of possession with 65.5%, and Barcelona, even though having lost 2 games, they still control possession with 64.7%. Manchester City at 62% in 3rd position. AC Milan, the one you never expected, at the team in the 4th position with 60.5. Real Madrid, the owners of the UEFA Champions League, who's converted UEFA Champions League to league titles, are in 5th position with 58.5%. Liverpool, they might be having a terrible season, but not too terrible that they cannot be ranked among the kings of possession. They are in 6th position with 58.3% of possession. But I'm talking about passing accuracy. No team beat Real Madrid, 91.5%. And then Manchester City are next to them with 90.5%. Barcelona, 90.3%. Paris Saint-Germain, 89.5%. Celtic, 88.0%. Chelsea, 87.5%. You know the funny thing? All of the team bossing possession, apart from Man City and Real Madrid, and then Paris Saint-Germain, I guess, the rest are not stopping their groups. Okay? Well, let's look at the teams that have done more tackles. Ajax 63, Sporting 48, Liverpool 47, Inter 41, Bayern 40, Rangers 39. Now, Bayern is of most interest to me. With all the goals that they're scoring, the matches they're winning, it tells you that they're still putting in a whole lot of hard work in tackling. And then no wonder they are also number 3 in terms of ball recovered in this season's UEFA Champions League. With Frankfurt on top with 169, Napoli 135. No wonder they are really winning games. Bayern Munich with 127, FC Porto 125, Olympique de Marseille 124, Leverkusen with 119. Yes, and clubs that have made more saves, even though they've also considered a lot, would have to be Rangers. 20 saves is what their goalkeeper have made. Victoria Pleasant 18, Ajax 16, Inter Milan 14, Club Brugge 13, and Sporting Lisbon have 11 in that regard. Clean sheet in this competition is headed by Club Brugge with 3, Bayern Munich 3, Sporting 2, Inter Milan 2, Frankfurt 2, Real Madrid 2. Yeah, this is where we come to the end of the show. God bless you all. Thank you. There's one last message that sneaked in by Edijala Ufoma. He said, that is the only way to grow, open to ideas. I love your program. It's unique and everyone can air opinion, and it can only get better. Thank you very much. And I pray that we'll have more subscribers, more people coming in through on the channel. God bless you and have a wonderful day. My name is Inda Frimaches. You love to come in on sports. Thank you very much for coming as well. Benedict Eke. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye, guys. Have a wonderful day.